Alright, what's going on, Game Changers? It's GCP here, and for those of you guys who are following me on Twitter, you already know. I came up with this tweet here saying that this would be a new GCP, and things would be a little different. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, what are you guys waiting for? There's a lot of crazy fun stuff that I tweet about on that social media platform, so make sure you guys follow me there. You don't want to miss it. Now listen, I didn't just say that just to say it. I said it because it's true. I want people to be held accountable for their actions and what they say here in the community. I feel like we are not doing enough to call these people out when they are either acting a fool or we know they're being fake. And guess what? Fakeness is just not gonna fly anymore. Was this the way that I used to be back in the day? Probably not. I might have done it here and there, but I was not very consistent with it. But now, like I said before, things are going to be a little different. Things are going to be different in the sense that I am not going to allow it. I still want to be as honest to me as possible and honest to you guys as possible as well. Whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to let loose. I'm going to tell it how it is. I might be wrong. There will be instances where I will not be right in what I say, but because I believe it to be true, I'm gonna say it regardless. And that's just how it's gonna be. You guys can be as honest as possible with me, even if you disagree. And this is something that I need to do moving forward, and something that I have been thinking a lot about. And by the way, if you guys are new here to the channel and have not yet subscribed, and this sounds interesting to you, and if you guys like an honest content creator, then what are you guys waiting for? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. And also want to quickly welcome all the people who came over from TSG. Thank you guys for choosing to watch that video and coming over to subscribe. Now with that being said, let's get into it. In my last video and the one that I posted to TSG, I talked about the community manager named Josh Torres and previously about Ashton Williams and how both of them are the same in how sensitive they are, and they need to be held accountable for all of their actions, or in this case, the lack of it. The lack of communication has been one of the biggest problems with Call of Duty and this franchise as of late, and I don't understand it. Blocking people, ignoring people, that's the issue. Why do you guys not want to hear the truth? Does the truth hurt? Is that the problem? The truth hurts so bad that they don't want to hear any of it unless it's positive and praise for the game. Now in today's video, forget those guys, let's talk about a member of the Call of Duty community, because nobody is exempt from the BS and needs to be called out or exposed. Chain Feeds, let's talk about him for a second. He got exposed. If you guys already know about Chain Feeds, you guys know he got exposed and called out for being a reverse booster, and he claimed he had these amazing gameplays and his channel was doing amazing, and his KD is also crazy off the chain as well for playing noobs because he was caught being a reverse booster. Now that's fine. I don't have a problem with somebody reverse boosting. Let's exploit skill-based matchmaking. In fact, I'm all for it. I'm all for reverse boosting. That's not the problem. The problem was, this was the biggest problem that the Call of Duty community had with Chain Feeds and some of these other people out there that need to be exposed as well, who have not been yet, which I'm leaving open for everybody and anybody who is watching this video and wants to do that, feel free to do so. But at the same time, he got called out for not being honest about reverse boosting and flaunting his stats. It wasn't until another YouTuber named Average Old Gaming exposed him, got copyrighted for it, and he got flamed, meaning him, Chain Feeds, got flamed for it. And then, because his videos got dislike bombed and he was doing really bad and got a really bad rep in the community, he had to change his ways. And guess what he did? He tried to make this as a positive thing. Now, the problem is this. Even though he got called out for it, and even though he got exposed for it, and even though he got made to look like the bad guy, he wanted to personify himself as a spearhead of this movement against skill-based matchmaking. The whole reason he said he did it was to expose Activision for their skill-based matchmaking ways, and he wanted to be the person who was in charge of leading this movement Again, he wanted to say or set up himself as a hero here. Instead of being the villain, which he was and exposed, he wants to turn it around and say he was the villain that made this into a movement now that we can all get behind and are all unified in, content creators and live gameplay channels. He is the spearhead of this movement now that leads this charge to eliminate skill-based matchmaking from Activision's rule. No, that does not work. That is not true, okay? That's not true. He got caught, he got exposed, and now he wants to turn it around and be the hero? Nah, fam, it don't work like that. Get out of here with that. I don't think so. That's not how it works, okay? You can't do that. And I don't think anybody should feed into that, even though there's a lot of people in the community who are sheep and are feeding exactly and right in to this man's hands. And you can't do that. Do not allow yourself to be somebody who cannot think for themselves. Think a little bit. Think for yourselves and don't just believe everything that somebody out here does and says. Because guess what? A lot of times it ends up not being true, okay? So make sure you guys have a sound mind and you think for yourself. And really quickly, I do want to call out the fact that when Blame Truth and 8 Thoughts were exposing him as well, he uses the race card because he wants to play the victim. Now, nobody, and I mean nobody, hates racists more than I do. I honestly do. But another thing that I hate as well is people who cry about racism when they are not being victims of actual racism. I mean, you can't pull that card when it's not true. I mean, if I were to say, for example, that somebody, and I can't use this word because it's banned on YouTube or whatever, the R word, if I'm doing that, or if I'm a woman or you believe a lady who has been a victim of the R word, then I can't just say that every time and put that other person under an investigation, or they could possibly lose their job, or worse, maybe other people will come after them. They could lose their livelihood. The same thing here. I mean, not to that extent, but at the same time, it's the same concept. You can't just say somebody is racist when it's not true and then not apologize for it. I asked multiple times on Twitter if he has apologized for making those statements or saying that about Blame Truth and 8 Thoughts, and silence. I haven't heard anything. So I don't think you should be able to get away with that as well. That's not right. You cannot do that. In fact, look at this Twitter poll that I put up. See? It's not okay. All right? So that's something else to keep in mind. So he definitely needs to check himself when he goes out there because it seems like he can't take the heat. Okay? And again, like I said before, don't believe everything that everyone says out here. Everything is not what it seems. But anyways, let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.